So with Power Ranger Beast Morphers Season 1 wrapped up, I thought I would review Kamen Rider Zero-One. Now this is my first time watching a Kamen Rider series from start to finish. I watched the first 5 episodes last week and I really enjoyed them. I actually watched them twice just to refresh my memory, and those episodes were really fun. I liked what I saw. I know this is my first Kamen Rider and a lot of people were suggesting me other Kamen Rider series to watch, which I am going to check out later down the line. But Zero-One, I'm having a lot of fun watching for the very first time, opening my eyes, just blind eyes, watching Kamen Rider for the very first time, and it's a lot of fun. So let's get on with my review of episode 6 of Kamen Rider Zero-One. So Kamen Rider Zero-One episode 6, I Want to Hear Your Voice, or in Japanese, Anata ko ga kitai. I probably butchered that, but... So the episode opens up with Ato and Izu in a recording booth watching an anime getting dubbed. Now it's the anime, or the manga, it's the anime of the manga adaptation we saw last week, which is Perfume Man Tsuragi. I probably butchered that name as well, but Ato was watching the anime getting dubbed, and he's a big fan, he's fanboying out. And this is where we see Ato be very serious in this episode. I mean, you get one goofy joke at the end to wrap up the episode, but in this episode, Ato was very seriously. I mean, he's gonna have his comic relief moments, but apart from that, he's like very super serious in this episode with what he's dealing with. So you can see the character just slowly developing as each episode goes by. So the anime is getting dubbed by a Humor Gear voice actress, and after the dubbing is done, they walk outside, and Fua shows up saying the Humor Gear is under arrest for specialized artificial intelligence law. What is that law getting broken? No idea. They don't really explain it unless they do, and it totally went over my head. But basically, she's in breaking the law. Fua's here to arrest her, and Ato tries to reason with him, saying, no, you can't do this, man. Just let her do her job. And then after that, Jin shows up. Well, before Jin shows up, he's talking to Hirobo, and after last week, we learn that Jin is the son of Hirobo, and Jin is slowly learning that he is like the son of Hirobo, and he goes, what's a child? So he's looking up Google what a child is, and he's slowly learning about parenthood and opening up about the world. So you learn that Jin is a meta gear, or not a meta gear, a humor gear created by Hirobo. So he's the same species as the humor gears we've seen throughout the episodes, which was a really interesting twist, although I think a lot of people caught it already, and I think I sort of caught on that this was all going to happen eventually. So Jin shows up on the scene and he has to steal a spinner disc from Ato, and this is where a battle begins because he gets dropped off by a taxi and he turns the taxi driver into the monster of the day, or the monster of the scene, where it turns into an owl and it snatches the gear right out of Ato's hand. And this is where this fight seemed really rushed, because you see Fua get a transformation. He gets the full transformation where he punches the bullet, and then in the next scene where it jumps cuts, you see Ato already transformed. So they already didn't do a transformation scene for this start of the episode. They're going to do it like later on down the line, so they don't buy time. But seeing how it's a like a tokusatsu series, and they need to buy time as much as they can by recycling animations or the CGI, I'm surprised they skipped it and he went straight into his transformation. So things are going crazy, everyone's being attacked, and Sian, the robot, and her father run away from the chaos, and Sian gets punched in the head, damaging her CPU, or her, basically her brain. That earbud in her ear is her brain. So she gets punched in there, she gets damaged, and Jin's about to convert her. And as they're lying on the ground, the father of Sian says, leave her alone, it's my child. And this is where Jin sort of freaks out. He's like, your child? You're protecting her? And this is where he really freaks out and doesn't know what he's really doing. He has second thoughts in this scene. So as this is going on, Ato chases the bat monster into the forest on the bike, and he jumps up in the air. Because he's unable to use his falcon gear, he's unable to transform into that form, he jumps in the air, uses the shark one, takes it out, but unfortunately the owl gets away, or the bat gets away with the gear as he's destroyed, and Jin's got it. So Jin is going to have this gear and use it later down in the episode, which, spoilers, but if you haven't watched the episode and you're watching the review, what are you doing? You're a bit silly. So So after that, we then cut to A.I.M, where Yua is given a brand new transformation gear called Lightning Hornet. We're going to see it later down the line in the episode, but apparently they say it's like 200% stronger than Cheetah, so that's really interesting, and you actually do get to see how powerful this brand new form is. I mean, it is really cool. I do like the design for Hornet, but we'll get into Hornet later down the line throughout the recap and the review. So after that, we then cut to the voice actor and the director's house, where they're saying that like they need to reboot the voice actress humor gear, and she gets rebooted, and she's got memories of the director's daughter, who not the director, like the voice, like, so I kind of get where the illegal activity comes from, but they don't really explain it. So I'm guessing this old man based this humor gear over passed or over, designed it after his deceased daughter. So I don't get how that's illegal in the show, or what laws he was breaking. I guess maybe they do explain it and they don't explain it, but they don't really go into the nitty gritty about it. Maybe they have, but he did a bad, and it's got the voice of his daughter, and that's why he programmed that voice into her, so he can like hear her speak to him every day and see her still success even though she passed away. So she gets rebooted, and Arto says, like, just give it free to, like, so Arto sympathizes with this guy, and then after that they walk outside. Fuwa shows up again, here to interrogate her again, arrest her, and Arto's like, give her 3 days, everything will be fixed. She's got a voice acting audition after that, so please just chill out, dude, give us 3 days. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Fuwa's the big grump of the series, which I really do like the dynamic between the 3 riders we've seen so far, or the 4 riders we've seen so far. Like, Arto is willing to give them all a second chance, Fuwa just wants to fucking kill them all, and Yua just views them as tools and nothing else. So you see 3 different perspectives between all those characters, and also there's Jin, who just wants to convert them all and watch the world burn. So you've got all those different perspectives of those characters, how they view the humor gears throughout the series, and it's a very interesting thing because each one has like different ways they see these like beings or robots, so that's also really interesting. So after that, we then cut to Jin and Hirobo in their secret base, and they're talking, and Jin asks his daddy, saying, do family members protect each other after what he saw earlier in the episode? And Hirobo doesn't really give him an answer. He says, well, if your family member's strong, you don't really have to protect them, so don't really worry about it. So you're strong enough, I don't really need to protect you, you can handle yourself out there, don't worry about yourself, just do your job, that's what you were built for, that's what you were designed for, just fucking go out there and do your villainy stuff. And Jin's like, yeah, okay then, that makes sense. So after that, we then cut to the voice acting studio, and because Sign's broken, her memories are flaring up and she begins glitching out. After that, we then cut to Jin on the balcony. He shoots his gun 3 times and then converts Sign. After this, as she's getting converted, her father rushes in and tries to save her, and this is where Jin's confused once again. Jin doesn't understand why the father is protecting the robot daughter, and this is where Arto says family protects family no matter what. And this is where Jin has a mental breakdown and tries to save Sign, which is really interesting. Like, he tried to save her before she was converted, but unfortunately she's too late, he's too late, and she turns into a big old frog monster. And I gotta love this frog monster design. I mean, it's got a big round head, and as it opens up its frog mouth, it's got another head inside. It's a really crazy design, and I did like it. It's a really cool frog design. That monster of the day does look really interesting. After that, Hirobo arrives. Hirobo leaves the base for the very first time, I believe, and he says to Jin he's too young to leave the nest, and he basically converts Jin, and this is where we learn that Jin is a humor gear, which is another big twist. Like I said, a lot of people probably saw coming, and Jin's revealed to be a humor gear. So Jin gets corrupted and uses the spinner to transform into Falcon. Now his design looks very, very different. It's more purple and pink. No, I think it's pink, yeah. It's a very pink design, and it looks very villainous. I do like Jin's design in his Henshin transformation. So Arto and Jin fight. Ado gets stomped because he's basically getting double teamed by the frog monster and Jin in his new transformation. Ado is pinned on the ground by Jin, and Jin is about to rip out the disc, and then Yua shows up to save the day, and this is where we get the reveal of Lightning Hornet, and Lightning Hornet does not fuck around. I mean, it's got lightning and Hornet powers, it flies around, it's really cool. This was a really cool fight scene where Lightning Hornet just destroys the monster, which does upset Ado, but you don't really see much of it because Ado wanted to save the voice actress. I mean, Ado likes giving them a second chance. He wants to save them in any way possible. Even though he can't really do that, they have to destroy him one way or another. So Ado gets his ass handed to him as he's fighting Jin. And after that, Valkyrie goes to fight Jin, and then Kong shows up, and we're about to get a double team fight between these two characters, but unfortunately that's not what happens, because what I have in my notes, Kong shows up and they fight Jin, and then I was like ... then Jin escapes and returns to base. So that fight is over before it even began, but Hirobo is praising Jin, saying he's a good little boy, he did well in this episode. So the relationship between Hirobo and Jin, I'm really interested to see where it goes now that Jin is like programmed to obey his like father, and I want to see where that goes next. So hopefully we'll see that throughout the next few episodes. So the episode ends with the director's daughter's voice being put in an Alexa Google Home device that Ado built, and he smiles and says, maybe I can put everyone's voice in here. I don't know, I can't remember what he says exactly, but Ado smiles at a job well done because the voice actor's father's dude's happy, everyone's happy. Ado ends it with a joke with saying, this is love, and he does the little heart pose, and then Izu explains the joke like she always does, which is always the fun little gag that they have. Even though I like Ado's like goofiness does ruin the moment at the end of the episode, some jokes are alright depending on how flat they land and how Japanesey the pun is. A lot of them are because it is a Japanese show and I am English and I barely understand the puns. But anyways, Ado's jokes usually do take you out of the moment, but this one, it wasn't that bad because it didn't drag on. It was like very quickly well done, and it was kind of cute with Izu doing the pose. So overall, it was a fun episode. Like, the action scenes were really good. Lightning Hornet was really cool. The thing with this episode, it was a good episode. It was a good episode, but the middle part felt like it dragged when they went to the voice actress's house and they were like explaining stuff, because it was really action-packed at the start. The middle was like a breather from the action, and then the third act was all fighting. Check out the new Henshin transformation, and don't they look cool? So overall, it's a fun episode, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. I mean, I am enjoying Kamen Rider Zero-One, and I'm probably going to keep reviewing it as the weeks go on. But I would like to know, what are your thoughts on the episode, and what do you think of my review? If I made any mistakes, I do apologize. I'm still learning everyone's name, and I do apologize for getting the pronunciations wrong. So if I did get anything wrong, I do apologize, but feel free to correct me in the comment section down below. I mean, I'm slowly learning the names, and my pronunciation is probably messed up for a lot of the characters. But hey, it is what it is. So if you enjoyed this review, make sure to slap that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys around. Peace out and take care of yourself.